Hey again, YouTube. So this is Mr. Schwa again, and I kind of wanted to go over gadgets now, kind of some of the stuff that people are going to be using on details and just in general, some of the stuff you should have if you're going to be in executive protection. So I apologize again if the video quality isn't as good as it should be. I'm still working on my camera stuff, but I'll just jump right into it. So we're going to go from left to right here, and I think that starts on this side. So this is in no particular order. Remember, I'm just kind of going through what I have. Some of the stuff I've encountered over my research and things that people should have. So this is an example of a monocular. This is a doctor monocular. Specifically, it is 8 by 21. Binoculars, remember, binoculars are actually quite heavy. And so I found this little guy on eBay for about $80, and that is on the low end. These retail for about 200, but it lets me see off in the distance. You know, it's small, it can fit in my hand, and I can basically put it up to my face and just look through it, no problem. It's light. I mean, the thing weighs less than 16 ounces. I think it's something like 12 ounces, has its own little case, and it just has a small footprint. In executive protection, you will be wearing suits, but also you'll be wearing dress as a business casual, even casual clothing. And so you have to have things that are light so you're not weighing yourself down. You're not always going to be in that tactical gear. If anything, clients don't like that. They want you to be professional, approachable, and also blending in. Aside from that, it depends on the state that you're in, but here is pepper spray. So this one has been in my pocket. It's completely worn, but it still works. You just, flip it to the side and push down pepper spray. Depending on the laws in your state, you're going to want to be certified in it. So being certified is extremely important. Now, moving on to the next one, we're going to have a flashlight. So flashlight is good, and you can have a fluorescent colored light or a warm light. I forget exactly the technical term for that. But more importantly, you want a light that has multiple modes. This one has a low light setting, even a red light setting for when you're walking around in the evenings and doing patrols. It also has, I don't know if you can see it that well, strobe. Sorry for those who have seizures. It has SOS in case you ever really need it. Not that we all do, or it just has this very slow flash. But this one has SOS. This one can go up to 1,000 lumens. It's even blinding the camera. So you want something powerful, and you want something that has batteries that are readily available, and you want something that is going to basically weatherproof, dustproof, and has a decent seal. So, and is also again very light. Like this fits in my hand, and more importantly, it's something that if you don't want to click, you can press down on the button fully, or you can just lightly press it to activate it. So flashlights, they're a dime a dozen. I was gonna say, I don't actually. Nighthawk makes some. This one is Night Core. There's a bunch of different flashlights out there. I mean, just Google best tactical flashlights. So going through, I have a battery power bank. This one is military grade, dustproof, waterproof, up to 10,000 milliamp hours, which means that you can charge not just your phone but someone else's phone. It has two ports, and the reason why this is important is because you're not always near a power bank, and this is something that can fit in your jacket pocket, your actual pocket, or just leave in the car. Have USB cables with you, but you can also charge the client's phone. And in this day and age, I don't think phones are going away anytime soon, so you're going to want to charge your client's phone in case you need to. This is a Leatherman. Now I just have one of these cases, a Velcro Molly case. But a Leatherman is good because it offers you versatility. This is the Charge, the most expensive of the line. It has all sorts of different knives, belt clip, tools, pliers, and stuff like that. You just never know when you need to use tools, especially, if the client has a need for something. Hey, can you cut this? Hey, can you fix this? Hey, can you break this? It happens all the time. I think a Leatherman is important. If you can make space for it on your belt, that's great. But in general, I use this even in my other work, IT, and or just around the house for my parents and stuff. So having a Leatherman is just key. This one retails for definitely now more than I think 150 MSRP. When I got it, it was about 112. But this has been such a popular line for Leatherman. I don't blame them for upcharging. Going back to the charging thing, I have just a wall charger in case you have time to get some juice on the wall. So make sure you have cables for that. I recommend you get something with two power banks, and some of these have fast charging, which is 2.4 volts and or I think 1.1 volt or 1.2. So you have two different charging speeds. But again, there's always a need for electronics. This one is a little controversial. It depends because on your level of threat, but I have a pink taser. This is my wife's, but I have it anyways because I don't think the bad guy's going to care whether or not he is. Let me see if I got this. No, it's definitely dead. I haven't charged it in a while. So that's my bad, but your taser is always handy. You always want to definitely have a backup non-lethal method of stopping the threat, neutralizing the threat. So I've had this in my work bag for a bit. I need to charge it, obviously, but again, Taser is a good option, and be certified in it, and also verify that your client allows you to carry it. So, knife, as I mentioned before, I like the karambits, and I remember in one of my previous videos I had this specially made by a Leatherman. So karambit is very sharp, it's serrated, it will do damage. Just have a knife, and I also have just a regular basic knife. There's all sorts of knives out there that you can get. Well, that was definitely pathetic. So this is just some knife some friend gave me. I have it on the side. I sharpened it and whatnot. It's a Tanto style knife. And by Tanto, I mean this part right here. So just always have a backup knife as well. You don't, if someone thinks the karambit is scary, you can use something like this. This is perfectly fine as well. And that's right, this has a little lever. Now it'll go down. So put that aside. These are mag carriers, as if you haven't been able to tell. I have a very thick gun belt, so I primarily use these, and I can shift these different distances. Now, what I also like is this is alien gear specifically. Some people don't like alien gear. Actually, of all the alien gear products I've tried, these are the ones I like the best because you can also take these off by twisting this notch right here, pushing this to the side and lifting, and then what you can do is you can basically put one here and one there, and you have one unit now essentially for your gun belt, which is nice. So I like alien gear. Stealth Gear makes some nice stuff. There's 100 different companies out there that make holsters and whatnot, whatever you prefer. Speaking of holsters, I have a black Serpa right here. I use this one a lot for my Glock 17 and Glock 19. It is not long enough, or it's too long for a Glock 26, but I believe it does fit in here. So this is if I need to have it on my hip. And then the other holster that I use is for concealed carry, which is my Stealth Gear. And this is specifically for my Glock 19. So I like the Stealth Gear. I've used them in the heat. I've also forgotten it was even on my hip. It is so comfortable. The back has a perforated, proprietary weave that they have, and you can tighten any of these screws to your retention. Mine is really difficult to pull out, but I like it that way because it doesn't have active retention like the Serpa does. So I have to basically just really tighten this bad boy down because I don't want somebody just lifting it off of my person. So moving on, the last two items that I have, and I'm not covering everything that an EP specialist should have, but this is a light for your gun, and as you can tell, I just completely blocked out the camera there. This has a different couple modes. This is the TLR2 HLG, and it's the green laser version. So let's see if we put that in the middle. Is that right? No, that's not it. Here we go. So it has a little laser that's green, a little easier to see than the red. And you can also do laser and light, and then you can just do light, or you can just do, if I remember, strobe. It's not really showing that well, but there you go. So it also does strobe. Again, sorry for those who have seizure. A good light is important. I know some people in the military used Surefire. My best friend used Surefire. He swears by them. I like the TLRs made by, Streamlight. And the thing about these is you need a specific battery for these. It's just important to have a light on your gun. You don't always need it, but if you don't have a flashlight per se, you can just carry essentially your gun. Not that you want to be pointing that to use for light, but it's still an option. And one thing to note about any type of lens that you carry on your light, it will get dirty, and a trick to cleaning that, because it'll get kind of murky. You can kind of see right there, it's a little cloudy. An eraser, like off of a pencil or one of those rubber erasers, you can get rid of that dirt there. So next item I have is basically a notebook. There are times when you need to do rounds, and there are times that you need to make notes, and a notebook, not necessarily this size, but a notebook is important to have in case you need to jot down ideas, take down names and numbers, and or again just license plates, whatever you can think of that you need to write down that is important for your job, write it down. The other thing I'm carrying is a watch, and this is a Sunto Traverse. So I carry this particular one because I need something that can withstand the elements, that can withstand my clumsiness. So it's just important to have a good watch, also that you can control the light. This is not going to blast in the middle of the night. It's not going to blast you with light. You can control the backlight. It's waterproof, weatherproof. It also has GPS in case you ever need to know your coordinates. Um, not, I mean, most people have Apple Watches nowadays, but if you don't, if you just have a regular watch for time, I highly recommend you get a GPS watch. And GPS watches, unfortunately, you have to recharge them about once a month if you're using them lightly, in the sense that you're not using the GPS feature that much. But Suunto, that's Suunto. They're a great company. They've been around for years. They have all sorts of different watches. They have classy, they have more practical, more outdoorsy watches and stuff like that. I like it. I think that basically covers what, some of the things that you should have in your bag, and some of the things you should have on your person. Like I said, a lens or a monocular I think is really important because as people pull away, your eyes can only look so far. So this is really handy and it's super light. And this is Doctor, spelled Docter, on eBay. You'll see the prices; they're very expensive, but they're also very well made. It's a German product. So I think that covers most things I have. Some other things I have are lock picking tools. You have to be careful depending on your state, just because if you have them on you, you can actually get in trouble for them. But I particularly have them because it's a hobby of mine, and you never know when you need to pick a lock. Please go back and look at my video regarding supplies that you need in your medical bag, just in case your principal gets hurt and or you get hurt. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, I would appreciate it. Please, we can always improve and, help the community. What should you carry in a bag, or, what kind of gadgets do you use when you're basically protecting your principal? I think a given is the cell phone. The cell phone should always be essentially off or on silent, and, just be careful with how you're using it, just because, again, you don't want to get distracted and play something, you don't want to look at the latest Instagram hot chick or something like that. Trying to think anything else. I think that basically covers it. So any questions, let me know. Tell me if you guys like the video or not. And I think that'll do it for now. So I appreciate your time, guys. Have a good night.